The Fifth Avenue Theater was built at the same time as the Skinner Building in 1926, and it started as a vaudeville movie palace and went along into the 70s as a movie theater. So a lot of folks I know who are my contemporaries talk about coming here in high school and seeing Jaws, which would have been like the last big movie that folks would have seen at the Fifth. And then it closed. And it was the days of the rise of the suburbs, Cineplex Odeons, movie palaces in urban areas were kind of falling out of favor. And so the Fifth Avenue closed in the late 70s. And what happened was it was a lot of the same folks who brought the World's Fair to Seattle in the 60s. They turned their attention to what the next issue facing Seattle was, and it was the revitalization of downtown. Prior to 1980, there was not a venue in Seattle where a Broadway touring show could come. And so it was renovating the Fifth Avenue to move it from a movie venue to a performing arts venue. And the first show that came was Annie. It was a brand new show. And it came and it ran for weeks and weeks, and then it came back and it ran for weeks and weeks. And then in 2000, the board said, it is time for the Fifth Avenue to have its own artistic profile. And so David Armstrong was hired as the first ever producing artistic director. The Fifth has transformed from a roadhouse to one of the leading musical theater producers in the country. I was here on the very first preview of Hairspray, which was the first pre-Broadway that had ever been done in Seattle. Of course, ever been done at the Fifth. And it was an unknown entity. And I was sitting in the audience and went, oh my God. This is something I have never seen before, I had never experienced before. You knew that this was something amazing. And the audience felt it. We get to allow an experience that is really worlds away from the everyday. Come in and just be transported to a new place. For me, it's always about the music. It's that thing that just, that moves me. I think the most wonderful thing for me to hear is when somebody who worked here as a kid, their first job out of college, and then they went on, and they say to me, you had a big impact on my career and starting out, and these are the lessons that I learned. And I mean, because people did that for me. It's handcrafted. It's handcrafted an art form. It's handcrafted how we do things. And that's really lovely. Well, I want to talk about somebody here who has been with me every step of the way, and that's my husband, Sean Griffin. He experienced everything that I went through here, the ups and the downs, the goods and the bad, the triumphs and the hard times and everything else, and I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without Sean. We've been talking a lot about what's been on stage, but this is also about community engagement and ensuring that we are part of the communities we serve outside of this amazing physical structure. We have programs that reach 75,000 young people throughout the state of Washington, whether it's touring in a van with, the backdrop, and you go out into the schools and perform.
Will we see you around the theater after your retirement?
Oh yeah, I'll be selling golden tickets out there. I'll be volunteering at the table next spring if I get a call. Fingers crossed.
Happy trails, Bernie. And you can learn more about the Fifth Avenue Theater's 2023-24 season at fifthavenue.org. Catch Art Zone Friday nights at 8 and anytime online at seattle.gov/artzone.